Welcome to the Probate Pod with Jason Siegel of the Siegel Law Firm, a podcast covering important topics in estate planning and probate in Florida. Jason serves the Treasure Coast and South Florida. Thanks for tuning in, and now here's Jason Siegel.
Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of the Probate Pod. I'm Jason Siegel, an estate planning and probate attorney here in Florida. So if you're listening to today's podcast, it's very possible that you recently lost someone close to you. Maybe it's a parent, a spouse, or another loved one. If that's the case, first and foremost, I want to start out by saying I'm truly sorry for your loss. When someone passes away, it's not just an emotional time, it also brings a lot of legal and financial questions. One of the most common ones I hear is, do we need to go through probate? Before we get into that, I want to first talk about some of the first few steps that you should take after someone passes away. First, you should order multiple copies of the death certificate. You'll want a few with cause of death. Those are pretty typical for things like life insurance claims and anything regarding medical benefits. You'll also need several without cause of death. Those are used for the court proceedings, court filings, banks, and most financial institutions. Good rule of thumb is however many assets the decedent had, maybe order one for each. So if they had 3 bank accounts, get 3, maybe 4 death certificates. That would be a good starting point. Next, you need to secure the person's property. That means locking up their home, their real estate, collecting the mail, and protecting valuables. Check for any safe deposit boxes or home safes. Sometimes important documents or items are stored there. You'll also want to forward the mail through the post office. This helps prevent identity theft and ensures nothing important gets missed. Now, before you do all these things, you want to speak to an attorney to make sure you have the legal authority to do these things. You also want to try to locate any estate planning documents, a will or a trust. That will help you answer that question about, do you have authority? And if you haven't already, contact your estate's attorney, the estate attorney for your loved ones. They can often help with what documents are in place and what the next step should be. Make sure you notify the right parties, family, employers, banks, life insurance companies, and the Social Security Administration. You should start by making a list of what the person owned and what they owed, their assets, debts, and reoccurring payments. Don't forget about digital accounts, things like email, online banking, subscriptions that may need to be addressed. If your loved one worked with a CPA, financial advisor, or had business partners, it's a good idea to reach out to them. They may have information that you'll need now or later on. And if your loved one was a veteran or a government employee, look into any benefits that may be available. Sometimes there are burial reimbursements or survivor benefits that can help. Now let's talk about the probate process. Probate is a court-supervised process of transferring assets after someone dies. It's not always required, but you'll likely need it if assets, for example, are in the person's name only. There's real estate that wasn't jointly owned or in a trust, or there are debts or disputes between heirs. You might avoid probate if there's a fully funded revocable trust. In other words, the trust was the owner or the beneficiary of certain assets. The assets had named beneficiaries, or property was jointly owned with rights of survivorship. In Florida, tools like a Lady Bird deed can potentially help avoid probate, where upon the person's passing, it automatically went to beneficiaries. Every situation is different. That's why one of the best things you can do is to reach out to your local estate planning attorney. The attorney can help you figure out what applies to your specific situation and guide you through the process. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope this gave you a little clarity during what is likely a difficult time. Look, this is not meant to cover everything, but it's a really strong starting point. So talking through these things with an attorney, with your loved ones, can help make sure that nothing gets overlooked. So until next time, I'm Jason Siegel, and this has been the Probate Pod.